This week's episode of I Was a Teenage Film Snob is not brought to you by the eye of a newt or the warts of a toad. Welcome to I Was a Teenage Film Snob. I'm James Chalmers, your friendly neighbourhood film snob, and it's been a few minutes since we've had an episode. It's been kind of crazy. I'm still in Scotland, as you may have gathered if you follow online. We've moved location. We're at a new city or a new town in Scotland, and I don't know, it's just been a bit crazy trying to get shows together, but we are back, and it is officially the spooky season. It's October, which means Halloween is not too far away, so we're going to start to dip our toe in the water of that topic a little bit. But before we do that, I should probably introduce my guests. Yes, it's not just me talking about movies. Welcome back to the show. You're going to be surprised. You're not expecting her. my wife, Tina.
Hello.
Back in the show. She's here because...
Jeez, James, you got to get some more friends.
I know, right? She's like, I guess I'll do it.
Yeah.
No, not at all. How are you, my love?
Yeah, I'm good. My love.
Right before this, you're like, you don't say nice things. So,
No, I didn't say that.
That's true. It wasn't quite that.
I'm good. We're here in Kirriemuir.
That's right.
Which is the birthplace of J.M. Barrie, who wrote
Creator
Peter
of
Pan.
Peter Pan.
That's right.
There's a great restaurant in town named after Peter Pan. What's
Yep,
it called?
Peter Chan.
Chinese restaurant. Great. Birthplace of Bon Scott, ex-lead singer of AC/DC.
Growing up place.
That's
place,
true. He didn't.
apparently.
He didn't grow.
I was
I was gonna say he didn't grow here.
He did grow here.
Yeah, they plucked him out of the ground
Yeah.
after he shot up. Yeah, well, yeah, his stomping grounds is a phrase I hate, but I guess that's what you would call it.
Stomping grounds. That's right.
It feels like everywhere we go in Scotland is the birthplace of someone important or the growing up place of someone important.
Yeah, I wonder if our last place is going to have that.
Pretty much every place we've been, like in Italy, it was Fellini's birthplace.
Yes, that's right.
Colmar was inspiration for Beauty and the Beast.
Yes.
Which, isn't a famous person, but still.
Yes, that's right. Kirkcaldy was Adam Scott. Not Adam Scott. He's the actor.
Parks and Rec's Adam Scott.
Adam Smith.
Adam Smith, who was a theatre guy, I want to say.
No, I don't think he was a theatre guy. I think he was like one of the American founding fathers' father or
the
something.
Theatre of War.
I don't know. I think he was important in America. He went over to America. He was important in America, I think.
Well, there's a theatre named after him, so that's maybe where I'm getting confused. But either way, there's been pretty much everywhere we've gone, there's been someone important attached to it. And it's spooky season. It's October.
Yes.
We're literally seeing normally when it's autumn in Australia, it's nowhere near Halloween because obviously it's different hemispheres.
That's right.
So this is
Spring.
Our first kind of Halloween in autumn.
Yeah, that's
I was
right.
going to say in October, but that's not correct.
And I think, I don't know when people start. So this is the thing. So all of the shops started putting out Halloween and autumnal decorations in September, which that makes sense. They also put out Christmas decorations at the same time.
My understanding is that from a global perspective, Australia is pretty un-Christmassy.
Yeah, it's Christmassy, but like not as.
But
not
like
that this is Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what they said. Like,
Yeah.
this is Christmas.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
But yeah, so they start putting out the Halloween and Christmas decorations in September. But then that's in the shops. I haven't seen. It's October what? 6th today.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any houses decorated yet. Apparently, the suburb that we are staying in goes all out for Halloween.
I bet you they do it like a week or two in advance.
Yeah,
I bet you,
maybe.
I don't think it's like how in Australia, like I say we put our Christmas tree up in a month in advance. Like me, like I'm just like, what? Is it Christmas time yet?
Yeah.
Like, it's generally pretty late for us, unless you get on it.
I think it also depends on if you get a real tree or not. I think if you get a real tree, you're getting it closer to Christmas Day.
And I imagine like November 1st in Scotland, like, all right, Christmas.
Yeah, I think so. Because a lot of the Christmas markets start in November.
And they don't do Thanksgiving in the UK.
No, they
don't. That's just American.
Yeah, America and Canada.
Yeah, because that'll be the next thing for America after Halloween will be Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
They do celebrate Black Friday in the UK though.
I think again that's a global thing. It's because of the Americas started it basically, because Australia has no reason to do Black Friday at all except for like corporations making money.
Well, it falls on my birthday weekend this year, so I'm very excited. I'm going to pick up some sweet deals.
Nice.
And we'll have a car, so I'll be like, load up the car with Blu-rays, you know? If we have to leave Zoe to the side, it's fine.
We'll pick her up off the side of the road
lots
later.
of Blu-rays. Not you. I'm not like the adult. I'm like the toddler. She's not a toddler anymore. Oh, that's scary. So how are you feeling about October and Halloween?
I'm really excited because I'm excited to see all the decorations. I'm really torn because I want to decorate the entire house, and I'm also like, I don't want to spend heaps of money. So I'm looking at lots of different little DIY things. Like there's obviously so many pine trees here. So I'm collecting pine cones to make little decorations, and I'll do like little orange slice garlands, and we've already carved a pumpkin. We'll carve some more pumpkins.
That tool you got, little tool set, was really good.
That was really good.
Like, if you think about the way we've done it back home, because we do carve pumpkins from time to time. We do
with a massive knife.
Exactly, like with a steak knife, a butcher's knife. Here, they've got like a little saw, and it's not that sharp. Like, realistically, in a couple of years, Zoe could do that herself.
I cannot get over the price of the pumpkins here.
How much are they?
That little pumpkin was 79p.
Oh, that's great.
In Australia, that little pumpkin would have cost like $5.
Yeah, I was gonna say like $3-4.
Yeah, let alone the big ones, which are like $15 or something.
That's insane.
Yeah, that's why we never carve pumpkins in Australia.
It's tough as well because we're leaving Kirriemuir on the 3rd of November, so you don't want to kind of dress it up too much, because then like it's
all got to come down.
One extra thing you have to do as well
literally
as pack.
The next day.
It's like, yes, we're leaving and we're packing it all. Yeah. All this rubbish to throw out as well. So,
but I'm also getting really excited for Christmas and Christmas decorations. I've already, in my head, written up all the list of all the food that I'm going to make, all the cakes and treats and things that I'm going to bake.
And once we get to the next place. The next place is the last place, and that's in November. So then you'll be like, right, every week you're like, and now another baking thing.
Yes, another baking thing.
I've already done the maths, and I have 11 weeks till my leave.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure sounds desperate that I'm calculating this far out, but
it's a school term.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to. We kind of landed in Scotland, and then I hit work straight away. So not that I haven't enjoyed my time in Scotland, but it's very much been a working holiday for me.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to like those few weeks over kind of December where I can just slow down. Well, not slow down. We won't be slowing down, but like have one less. Like go to sleep at night.
But it will be slowing down because it's not. We don't have to drive to families' houses over Christmas and blah blah blah. It's literally like we can do whatever we want Christmas Eve. Wake up Christmas morning, do whatever we want Christmas morning. Go out, play in the snow.
We do kind of do that these days anyway. But the snow will be a big thing.
Yeah.
And there'll be Christmas markets and stuff like that.
I'm really looking forward to that.
Like it is kind of crazy. We are halfway through the trip now, so even though it is 3.5 months away, we're actually like before you know it, we'll be heading home.
I know.
Which I think like Zoe's kind of expressed she loves. Like every day is different. She's like, I want to live in Scotland. I want to live in London. I want to live in France. I want to go home. But like she's all over the place. But I think
it's little things that she misses. So she'll see something. She'll see a photo from back in Australia. It's something that she used to have, and she goes, "Oh, I don't want to be on holiday anymore. I want to go back to Australia." And then she'll see a photo of like when she was in London at the Harry Potter studio, and she goes, "I want to live in London."
Yeah, I get that.
It's just like I don't think she's not enjoying her time here. I think she is very much enjoying. Her time.
She and I walked to the shop before to give you a bit of a break, and we were getting some food for dinner. And we were having a bit of a chat, and I was like, "You enjoying your holiday?" And she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "I love it." So she's.
Oh, that's good.
She is digging it. Like it's just, I think it's a lot. Like it's a lot for us. Like it's, but if it's a lot for us, imagine how much it is for a 4-year-old.
Yeah, exactly. Who doesn't understand how the world works, and that you can't just get on a plane and just go home.
Yeah, no, for sure, and like especially the first month of it, which was just like.
sickness.
She was ill for 2 weeks and then we're just on trains constantly. And like,
she doesn't like Italy only because she was sick in Italy.
And now like, she doesn't want to get on a plane because she's worried when she gets off the plane she'll be sick.
Yeah.
And it's like, kid, when we get back home, the doctors
doesn't matter.
literally around the corner. They speak the same languages. It's not going to cost us any money. Like, it's fine.
Like, it's fine.
We're going to be
because that's what's going to happen. When we get home to Australia, we're all going to get sick.
We just need to unpack our house before we get sick. And then we'll be okay. Because then we'll have a bed to fall asleep on.
Yeah, exactly.
And a bucket to puke in if we need to. So, nice.
Speaking of buckets to puke in,
yes.
Halloween.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Well, I was going to say, like...
I was like, how do you segue that?
I didn't really tell you that it was a Halloween episode so much.
No, it's not a Halloween episode.
Well, it's not really Halloween, but like I do want to start thinking about Halloween.
Spooky season.
And I know you don't really like horror films. We will talk about horror later in the month. Because I think... Now, after being with you for almost 20 years, because we've been together for 17 years this year, I feel like I'm pretty good at knowing what you would be able to watch and stuff. Like, when we first started watching, we both, I would say, pretty much lied to each other, where I said, I'm not a picky eater, which was...
You're like, I love Japanese food. I'm pretty sure you would never eaten Japanese food in your fucking life.
I would agree. I don't think I'd even had panko, breadcrumbs at that point.
Yeah.
I would have. I like a breadcrumb. But, and you were like, oh, I love horror movies.
Yeah. My version of horror movies, which is like...
Twilight.
Yeah.
Twilight hadn't even come out yet.
Yeah.
Because you were like, you told me, I think you liked and appreciated the art style of like 1950s horror posters. You're like, oh,
yeah,
I like the vintage art style.
And there were some scary movies that I didn't mind. So, well, they were probably more gory movies, but I can't tell you what they are now.
Yeah.
But it certainly wasn't... I'd seen the first Saw movie.
Yeah.
And I'd liked it. And I'd never seen Nightmare on Elm Street or any of the Jason movies. So I couldn't like make a comment on that. But... Your version of horror and my version of horror were two very different things.
Yeah, I think the first movie I showed you was Hills Have Eyes, and we got an hour in, and you're like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
Because I think I've told the story on the podcast before,
yeah.
where basically a mutant cracked open a grandma's chest and ate her heart, and you were like, this is... But I will say...
I need to take a break from
I will say this, a week later you did finish it. You're like, can we finish it?
Yeah,
so you did.
Yeah. I just needed a little pause, that's all.
But over time I've gotten really good. Like not last year, I think, but the year before, I was like, let's watch some horror films. And I kind of did pull out some, like, these are ones that I think you'll like, or at the very least you'll be able to watch and not be scared. And I think I think you were happy with 2 out of 3 that I picked.
Yeah. I think as I've gotten older, my tastes in things has become more conservative. I think when I was younger... Because, I mean, we met when we were 18. So when you're 18 and 19, you're just like, fuck it, I'll do anything.
Yeah,
I'll watch
you're
anything.
edgy.
You're edgy, you're cool, and all that kind of stuff like that. And then as time goes on, I just go, why would I want to... I've talked about this before. Why would I want to... go out of my way to experience fear. I have enough fucking stress in my life as it is. The cortisone that runs through my bloodstream is on a daily basis.
I think that's...
I don't need to fucking sit down and watch a girl try not be murdered by some... like weapon-wielding maniac. Like, I would much rather watch The Great British Bake Off.
Sure, but I think that's why horror is so effective, because horror and comedy, which I was talking about this when my last guest was Devaney Pinn, the filmmaker.
Yes.
So I haven't had anyone on yet, but we were talking about it, and something that she was saying, which is something I believe as well, is how, comedy, there's a lot of love for comedy and not as much love for horror, but if you put them next to each other, they both actually achieve the same emotional response.
Yes.
And the good thing about horror is... It's quite a release. It's it's a
cathartic release. That's right.
And I think the last kind of new horror film I think you watched would probably be Get Out, which I would agree is a great cathartic release. Like it's got enough tension to build it up and let it up, but it's not like, oh my god.
Oh, I love a thriller. A thriller is good because I find that a thriller, is more emotive in terms of. Tension and release. I don't like the feeling of having watched a scary movie and then being too scared to go to bed.
Sleep. Yeah,
and
for
too
sure.
scared to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Why in my own house am I lying in my own bed and going, last night I wasn't scared to fall asleep, but now I fucking am. And I'm 35 years old.
Yeah, that's
like,
fair.
that's okay to feel that as a child if you've accidentally watched something scary. But I don't need to feel that anymore in my adult life. I'm done with that chapter in my life. And that's why I'm like, I don't want to watch scary movies anymore. Because I don't want to feel that fear. It's not the fear when I watch the movie. It's the fear after I've watched the movie. If it's a supernatural one, I'm fucked. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not sleeping that night. We were talking the other day. We were talking about something. And you were like, oh, yeah, reliving your last night in Soho vibes. Because we were somewhere and it looked like Soho or something like that. And I'm like, I'm never fucking watching that movie again because it is a brilliant movie. It's a really good movie.
It's great.
And I want to watch it again. But the night we watched it,
the experience was rough.
We then had to, because Zoe was a baby.
Yeah.
We just finished watching it. It was like...
No, we hadn't.
No, we hadn't. Okay.
Mild spoilers for Last Night in Soho, which is like a 4-year-old film now. And it is like... It's great. Like, Edgar Wright, you guys know how I feel about Edgar Wright. But, yeah, like, she starts seeing visions of, like, ghosts.
Yeah.
Like, basically. Like, and the way it's done is not the way... Like, it's very...
And they're really violent ghosts.
Yeah, and the way they look is very...
Zombie-like.
Yeah, it's very jarring. It's, like, kind of a blank face. And, like, I'll just leave it at...
It's terrifying.
It's more silhouette than anything else. And that's, like, the silhouette of a body, which is, like, can easily be mistaken.
Yes.
And... the power went out in our house, and we had to go into Zoe's room.
And we had to go into Zoe's room.
And she was standing up.
Because...
She's just standing up.
So
Mummy.
So we had a white noise machine cut out because the power went out. So she woke up. Because that's right, because the light was also like a digital light. And so then the light came on and that woke Zoe up. So we turned the light off. But because she was awake in this pitch black room, there's this child crying in a pitch black room going, Mummy? And all I could see, like in the dark, because you know how your eyes adjust to the light?
Just the silhouette of a standing baby. All I could see
was the silhouette of all of these ghosts in the room. And it took so long to get her back. Like, it took like almost 2 hours to get her to go back to sleep. And we were tired.
Yeah. We did go back and finish it that night, though. We were like, let's finish the movie.
And I was like, why? I was like, no, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm sorry. That chapter of my life is
over.
Well,
I just pick fun ones for you now. Like, the last 3 things I showed you, it was 2 out of 3. You didn't really care for Scream 4 because everyone made bad decisions, which is fair enough.
But again, that I can do because it's not supernatural.
Yeah.
I'm not doing supernatural
I would never do that.
anymore.
And that's the thing, I know now what you like.
Yeah.
So I showed you that, which you didn't really like the decisions maybe, you thought it was fine.
Yeah.
I showed you Freaky, which I think you quite enjoyed. That was pretty fun. And Final Girls, which was wonderful.
Yes.
So all of this is a roundabout way of saying we're not going to do horror films tonight. Well, actually, I do have a couple. But we are going to dip our toe into the waters of Halloween. We're going to talk about magic. We're going to talk about witches and sorcery and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a very vague topic. I was like, cause I gave you the option yesterday. I'm like, do you want to do like magic witchy movies or do you want to do like travel movies because we're on holiday? And you're like, probably witchy movies. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I started thinking beyond the obvious. So Tina and I, there's an unspoken rule because we didn't talk about it, but we both decided not to talk about Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings tonight because we've done it. We've done 2 whole episodes on the Harry Potter franchise. There is a Lord of the Rings and Hobbit episode coming when we go back to Australia. We will, because we were going to do it last year and then we got so tired.
So there's no point in it because it would literally be like number 5, Order of the Phoenix, number 4. Like, it's just...
Yeah, you would go like 6, 5, 3, 2, 1 or something because 4 wouldn't be on your top 5. But the one that Zoe's most obsessed with.
Yeah, is Goblet of Fire.
Oh, boy. How do you like that soundtrack?
Oh, my God.
I'm going to change the theme song to the podcast to that.
We have listened to that song, I would say, at least once a day.
It's, she does love that soundtrack quite a bit, that score. Well, I don't think actually, no, before we jump into our list, let's talk about witchcraft and wizardry and sorcery and stuff like that. Clearly, you're a bit of a fan based on Harry Potter. But your love of witches and wizards doesn't start and stop with Harry Potter. You're quite into the whole witchcraft.
I am. Yeah. I'm starting to go into my full witch era now that we're here at Scotland, or at least I'm trying to. They're not really having much time reading up on many things. But yeah, I'm very much into that whole spirituality, which I think is why I don't like supernatural horror movies, because I don't like the idea of being hounded by bad spirits, evil spirits, because I believe in spirits. And so therefore, I believe that stuff could happen, and I don't want it to happen to me.
But you've always you've always been fascinated by witchcraft and the trials.
Yeah,
and stuff,
magic and the trials and the Salem witch trials. And what's really interesting is where we're staying is because Scotland has had the most amount of witch trials in the world, and burning of women at stakes and men, but mainly women at stakes. And Fofar, which is the town that's near us, has had the most witch burnings in all of Scotland.
Oh, wow.
And it's really steeped in its history. And I was going to do this guided walking tour about the witch trials, but I missed out on it because it wasn't happening at a time that I could go. But all of that has always really interested me. The idea of spirits of the earth and the elements and the healing properties of certain objects or plants and things like that has always really interested me. That's not to say that if I have a headache, I'm going to chew on some fucking willow bark or some shit like that. I will take some Panadol.
Yeah.
Or it's not if I, am sick, I'm not going to take antibiotics. No, instead I'm going to do ozone therapy. Have you heard of ozone therapy?
I don't know what it is, but I have heard of it.
Okay, so ozone therapy...
Is this thing that Elle Macpherson used and then she regretted later?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know if ozone therapy was that thing, but other celebrities do it. You literally shine your asshole to the sun.
Oh.
And you open up your butt cheeks and to the
that's
sun
the
rays.
ozone?
I guess so.
Because it makes an O shape?
But I'm pretty sure I read something. I don't know if this is clickbait or not, but I'm pretty sure I read something where it's there are now getting increasing number of skin cancer around the anus because of people doing this.
It's just
so I'm not into that kind of bullshit.
That's just such I feel since the rise of the flat earth movement, the rise of the anti-vax movement, people are just looking for anything other than science.
Yeah, exactly. But I do tarot cards and I've had psychic readings before. And stuff
I was
like
there for
that.
one of those. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I do remember that one.
The guy was like, "You're gonna find love soon," and I'm flashing my wedding ring.
Yeah, I'm we're married. But I've so I'm into that sort of. I'm into that witchy, magic-y sort of stuff. But the thing is I was coming up with my list. I really haven't actually seen that many witchy movies. Or the ones that I have seen, I watched when I was 9 and I can't remember them and I only would have watched bits of it. So, for example, Practical Magic, I remember seeing it on TV when I was 8 or 9. But guess what? I haven't fully watched it. So I can't comment on it. Or for example, The Craft. The Craft really scared me when I was a kid. All the girls in primary school were really into it. Yeah, and we did that whole, we were at a sleepover one night, but I wasn't allowed to sleep over, but I was still at the party. And we did the whole stiff as a feather, light as a board, stiff as a feather, light as a board. And there was a girl who was friends with. And she was like, "Oh my God, did you feel it? The body raised a little bit." I was like, "No, it didn't, motherfucker. It didn't, okay?" And yeah, I just remember that movie sort of scared me a bit, and I used to watch Charmed, and Charmed sort of scared me a little bit. So I was interested in it, but I was also sort of scared by it a little bit. But yeah, there's a lot of I didn't watch the first Hocus Pocus movie until last year.
No, it's before then.
Was it? It was last Halloween.
It was it's been in the last couple of years. I don't think it was last year because the new Hocus Pocus came out last year and we watched it before then.
Okay, so then it must have been the year before that.
Yeah.
But like I've only seen that once.
Yeah.
Or like, so I can't. It was really hard for me to come up with this list because a lot of the movies I either saw when I was once when I was really young, and I can't remember it, or I haven't seen.
Yeah. Well, that's why I kept it very general. Like any movie that's kind of like got themes of magic and stuff like that.
Yes.
So, because the first movie on my list, number 5, I think people would argue that's not magic or witchy, but it's got a character with powers that could be perceived as magic.
Yeah, and so it's like, how far do you go? Like, is Thor a
well,
magical movie?
I thought about Thor because
exactly.
Thor's got a magic hammer. And Thor you get away with because in that movie there's that line. They're like, this power uses like magic. He goes, some call it magic, we call it science. And it's like,
or is anthropomorphic animals? Is that magic? Like, how far do you go with this whole thing?
Yeah, I think the rules on the show have always been pretty lenient. So I
would say in order for it to count, it has to include some sort of like magical element that is not like sort of then turned around to be explained as science.
Cool.
In that
cool,
realm.
Because I was like my number 5. I'm like, I'm waiting for the rule. I'm like, you might not like my choice. It's not explained by science, so we're okay.
Yeah, so it can't just be like, Thor's. Like, I wouldn't count Thor as a magic movie. I would count that as like an action movie.
Yeah, or like, that's mythology. Mythology's always got some magic in it. Yeah. All right, well, we've talked about your love of witches and stuff like that. Yeah. I've always been interested, like anything horror I've always liked. I've always just liked the iconography, the imagery. Yeah. I guess it's the same thing. I've always liked that. I think my love of witches began with Banjo-Kazooie.
What's her name?
Gruntilda, yeah. Although, like, Mary Poppins, I think, would be, you kind of say is a little bit witchy. Like, she's got some magic powers that aren't really explained. Bedknobs and Broomsticks, I barely remember, but that's...
I never watched it.
Maleficent in Sleeping Beauty, obviously quite magic. So there's...
I watched The Good Witch a lot when I was little.
What about The Worst Witch?
Oh, so that's what I meant, sorry. The Worst Witch. I watched The Worst Witch a lot when I was little. I used to pretend I was riding a broomstick like her.
So there's plenty of... And there was one, I feel like, I don't remember what the name of the book was, but there was one, and it was like a children's book. And it was about a young boy who... No, I'm just kidding. It was like Meg or something. Meg the Mog.
Oh, Megan Mogg?
Megan Mogg, yeah. I remember that.
Megan Mogg, yeah.
I just think Halloween imagery is always very cool. Like, it's appealing to there's a lot of fun to be had with it. Just it's not just the darkness in our hearts.
Even Zoe is just like she's obsessed with witches. She wants to be a witch. She loves doing potions. She wants to wear a witch's hat.
She wants to go to Hogwarts.
Magic. Yeah, it's not just like Harry Potter witch. It's like any sort of witchy stuff.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Cool.
I think
you can
go first.
Okay.
What's number 5 on your list?
You're gonna love this. So it's only the greatest movie ever made.
Oh my god, is it? Oh no, I know what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say.
Okay, so back a few years ago, we stopped doing this. We should do it again.
Yeah, I think you lost the one I bought you. It's hidden somewhere. It looks awful. Like, it's really bad.
I was in the shops once. It was close to Christmas time, and I found this DVD, and I was like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I have to buy it for James. It was literally like $1 or $2 or something like that. And when I gave it to you for Christmas, I was like, we're going to start a tradition where we give each other one present that is absolutely batshit crazy. And we did it for 2 years and then we stopped. So we need to start doing it again.
I thought the tradition was bad movies.
Or bad movies or something.
But no, I think you're right. I think it was just a dump.
I think it was bad movies.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Because we do watch bad movies.
Yeah, we do.
Like in your pregnancy, we watched Titanic 2.
Yeah,
we watched a bunch of stuff. So.
Yeah. So this movie is brilliant. The trailer for this movie is 3 minutes long.
Did you pull it up?
Yes, because I had to watch it again because I'd forgotten what had happened. It is the movie The Amazing Wizard of Paws.
Yes.
So it's about a boy.
Yeah.
who wants to be a magician.
Yeah, he's not a wizard.
No, he's not.
a magician.
So this is the thing. So, like, there's this... They don't... whoever made this movie, and it is, like, low-budget movie. Like, we're talking independent...
Yeah.
Zero budget.
Like, very obvious green screen.
Yes. Like, we're talking the Room version for
yeah,
kids.
like the Room, Birdemic, like that
Yes,
sort of level.
exactly.
Which is why it's so enjoyable.
That's why.
Because it is
that's
entertaining.
right, exactly.
Like, it's not good.
No.
But it is entertaining.
So it's about this boy, I can't remember his name, but he wants to be the best magician in the world. But what I love is that it's like... There's a difference between a magician and a wizard, and this movie doesn't understand that.
Yeah, because he's got, like, the rings, and he's
Yeah.
got, like, a magic wand.
Yeah, but the magic wand ends up doing... But it's a magician's magic wand.
Yeah,
it's
that's what I mean.
black one with the white tips, but it
Yeah.
ends up doing magic.
There's,
And it's like, that doesn't make sense.
Is it a talking animal movie?
Yes.
The dog talks?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
So the dog, who is the Wizard of Paws... he originally doesn't talk, and then like the boy finds a key or something like that, and it unlocks the spell book, which is literally like just a book with like gems hot glued onto it, sort of thing.
And isn't just like when it's like hidden, isn't just like in the forest or something,
So,
or like in the
yeah.
desert, like it's not like hidden.
Yeah, exactly. And there's like a bad wizard who is trying to get his hands on the book, I believe. And so, like, the boy unlocks the book, and then the book's powers, like, give the dog his voice, and, like, it activates the dog, basically. Because he's, like, 600 years old.
He's, like, a descendant of other wizards. And is he... I can't remember, is he actually a dog, or is he a wizard trapped as a dog who became a dog?
I can't remember.
Either way, genius.
Yeah. But, yeah, and so the dog's name is Ozzy. I think, I'm pretty sure. The dog's name is Ozzy. And then, like, the dog wizard is basically helping this little boy to become the best magician in the world by using real magic. And then, obviously, like, the bad guy comes and he has to fight the bad guy and all this kind of stuff like that. But it is... First of all, the CGI is rough.
Isn't...
Really rough. And that's not a pun for dogs. It is rough.
The scene I remember most is there's a time machine because he has to go back in time at one point, and he goes on a train, and outside I'm pretty sure it's a steam engine, but inside it's clearly just a normal train. It's just like a modern train.
Yes, that's right. And there's like this scene on a school bus.
Maybe.
And the school bus is like flying through the air, and the bad wizard's like has trapped the boy on the school bus and is doing bad magic to him. And I just remember that scene going on for a really long time.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's like looped effects and stuff in there.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
We need to get to 80 minutes. Just play it again.
And there's a scene, I can't remember why, but I remember I have the picture saved in my phone. And it is a scene where the boy and the dog are at the cinemas together watching a 3D movie, and the boy's wearing 3D glasses and the dog's wearing 3D glasses. And if that is anything to make you watch this movie, that description alone should be it.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It should be my number one.
I remember next to nothing about it, but I remember like just laughing. Like I honestly, if we found that DVD, it would probably be Zoe's favorite movie.
Yeah. Oh, it would be.
Like, it'd be one of those ones like, you know,
she would be like, "This is amazing."
Like, you know, when you grow up and you get a bit older and you talk about favorite movies again, there's always someone who's like seen a movie that like Maddie, like the Cobbler and the Thief or whatever. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like this Aladdin ripoff.
Or like I had a VHS tape of The Prince and the Pauper, but it was like this knockoff animated version that was bought from $2 from like the Treasure Market or something. It was not Disney, and like I watched it all the time.
Yeah. But everyone's got, well, like, I'm sure everyone's got, I'm trying to think, like, I would have had something like that as well. For me, it's probably the BBC Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. Like, it's a real thing, but no one had seen it or heard of it. Like, even now I talk about it.
But now if you, I don't know, now if you talk about it, people will know what that is.
No,
it's like the BBC version of Alice in Wonderland.
The one with Tina Margarino?
I don't know who that
And
is.
Whoopi Goldberg is a Cheshire Cat.
But
That's not BBC.
Oh, isn't it?
No.
All I remember is that the grass is in a checkerboard pattern.
Yeah,
and I thought that was really cool.
And it's got like Christopher Lloyd in it and Gene Wilder.
Really?
Yeah,
oh my God, it's a big cast from what I remember.
Yeah, Gene Wilder plays the turtle. And Martin Short plays the Mad Hatter, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, wow. That's not BBC?
Robbie Coltrane is Tweedledee and Tweedledum, I'm pretty sure.
Wow.
If I remember correctly. It's huge.
Yeah.
Like, because there was this thing in the 90s where they would like make these made-for-TV movies that would be two-night events. Like they did with Merlin as well. They did the Sam Neill version of Merlin, which Nick Owen brought up on episode way early in the podcast.
I remember that, yeah. They would do two-night events.
And Alice in Wonderland was one of them. So they did a couple of those. Because they're like 3 or 4 hours.
They are.
They're really long.
That's right.
But yeah, that Alice in Wonderland one is great. Yeah, it's the girl from Napoleon Dynamite.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the puffy sleeves. Yeah. But it's not BBC, but I know what you're talking about. No, but the Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, I think it's like 80s. Like the wolf is just a guy in fur.
Yeah.
Like it's not even a proper wolf suit. It's like a mixture of paint and fur. All right, Wizard of Paws.
Wizard of Paws, brilliant.
It's insane.
Off to a great start. Everybody should watch it. I don't know how you'll get your hands on it.
It's probably on YouTube. You can probably find it. Like
I reckon I think we've searched it up before. I think you can find clips.
Yeah.
You might be able to find it on Amazon. I don't know.
It's bonkers.
It is.
But like you will have a good time with it.
My God, you will laugh and laugh and laugh.
Like you and I are not really drinkers, me especially. I would say I'm basically sober, like the way that the amount of alcohol I consume these days. But if you are the kind of person who does like to imbibe...
Oh, you can watch it on Tubi.
Oh, there you go, Tubi. Fantastic.
And actually, you can watch it on Prime Video.
There you go.
For free.
There you go.
There you go. And Plex.
It is the kind of movie that if you do like to imbibe while watching a movie, this is perfect for it.
It's got a 4.2 star rating.
I mean, that's better than, I think, Madam Web. So...
The dog is clearly a demon.
Alrighty, well, mine is not going to be anywhere near as amusing as that, but this is the only one I would say doesn't quite meet the brief entirely, but I've never had a chance to put on any other list, so I'm putting it on now. My number 5 movie is one of my favourite childhood movies of all time. It's about a young girl with powers, and it's Matilda.
Matilda.
From 1996. So, clearly not a witch. Magic.
Yeah.
But
magic is there.
But I would say if Carrie is magic, which I do think she is, then Matilda... Because Matilda is just Carrie before she grows up.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it. Matilda's one of my favourite books of all time. I loved it as a child. I just think it's brilliant. I love all of Roald Dahl's writing. That movie did such a wonderful job because they took a British book written by a European author and Americanized it, and no one complained. And that's really the number one complaint from audiences. Like, why did they change all this? Like, you couldn't do that. Like, if they did to Harry Potter, there'd be riots in the streets.
Oh my God.
Like, hey, I'm going to Hogwarts. People would hate it. Brilliantly cast. Danny DeVito, I think, directed it as well. Like, he narrates it, and he plays Mr. Wormwood. His wife, Rhea Perlman, plays Mrs. Wormwood. I can't remember their names now. And Mara Wilson, who'd only done a handful of flicks before she was in Mrs. Doubtfire. She's not even an actress anymore. I think that was one of her last films. She doesn't act it really anymore.
She quit acting.
And it's just such a delightful film.
It really is, yeah.
They really capture, like, the essence of the story. It's back when children's films could be a little bit dangerous. Yeah. Because, like, there are moments in it, like, that moment where the Trunchbull is chasing Matilda through the house, like, in the basement, is like a horror film. Like, the music... I'm trying to think, the woman who plays... the woman who plays Trunchbull is Aunt Marge in Prisoner of Azkaban.
Yes, of course, absolutely,
yeah. Obviously, there's a newer version of Matilda, which is based on the musical. So Tim Minchin adapted the story into a musical about 10 years ago now, I would say, maybe a little bit more. And then Netflix did an adaptation. I really like that version as well.
Yeah, I like that version as well, yeah.
But just like with Mean Girls, which we talked about at the start of this year, that version
the first one has a special
version.
place
it's
in your
my
heart.
Version,
yeah, that's right. Same.
Also, like, they get away with doing stuff that you couldn't do so much these days. So, for example... Bruce Bogtrotter in the modern version is clearly a little boy in a fat suit. Yeah. In the original book, that is a fat boy. They just took a heavy set kid and like, hey, want to play a big fatso? Yeah. And he was like, okay. My mom's is better. That's the chocolate cake. I don't really know what's like. I guess I should talk about the magic element of it a little bit. It's so for those who haven't read or seen Matilda, first of all, how dare you? Like, it's such an old movie, such an old book, but it's about a young girl who's born into a family who doesn't really want a daughter. Like, if they had a second son, they might have liked her more, but not by much. Like, they clearly they didn't want to have a child.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything about it. Like, she didn't even know she was pregnant till way late in the pregnancy. And because of the neglect she feels, and because she's got this desire to learn and to grow and to be her own person, this kind of power within her manifests, and she gets psychic powers.
Yeah.
Like, she can't read minds, but she can make things levitate. She can, well, that's pretty much it. She can make things
levitate. It's telekinesis.
It's literally Carrie. Like, she is literally Carrie, except without the violent nature. Instead of, killing people, she brushes, she makes cereal while that's the one, yeah. But it's just really fun. It's just a great, it's a revenge story as well, because there's, a dark plot about, how the Trunchbull,
stole Miss Honey's...
maybe murdered her brother, who was Miss Honey's father. And, how, because Matilda is young, she understands right and wrong, but doesn't really necessarily understand how far, you can go into, right and wrong. And so she does things that are kind of violent sometimes and borderline, definitely, does things to scare people in order to protect the ones she loves. I love it. I think it's so well made. I think the punishments for the dad in particular, for Mr. Wormwood, are executed really well. That's one thing I didn't like about the modern adaptation. Yeah. In the book, she super glues his hat to his head, and it becomes an ongoing part of the story for ages. There's bits of leather stuck to his skin, and he's got bugs in his hair. And then there's another bit where she dyes his hair blonde or something with peroxide. There's all sorts of things. She really Green, she kind of really messes with him. Whereas in the modern one, it's not quite as heavy. And even at the end of the modern one, there's actually a bit of redemption where he kind of finally acknowledges him as her daughter. I was like, oh, I kind of want them to try and make this work. Yeah. Whereas in the original, there's no, there's no love here. They don't want each other. The best thing they can do is separate. I didn't mind that change in the remake, by the way. I did like it, but I was like, oh, I would like them to give it a go. Yeah. But no, I just think it's excellent. I always think about the newt scene, where they're like, it's a frog, it's a newt. All the kids are really good at it as well. It reminds me of the casting of School of Rock. It's just
it does. Yeah,
you picked every single child so perfectly. Exactly. I remember all of them. Yeah. And the way they kind of the way they kind of execute their performances. It's great. It's a really good fun, engaging kid adventure that I think a lot of young children I put on the same levels like Goonies and stuff, where it's there is an element of fear and danger, which I think kids' movies are. I understand we want to protect our children, but it's okay to have there's no adventure without risk, so you need to have a bit of that. Exactly. And I feel that kind of generation of filmmaking is kind of the last we saw of that before post 2000 did start to kind of clean up a little bit. But anyway, that's beside the point. I love Matilda. It's my number 5 in my magical movies.
Beautiful.
Which brings us to number 4.
Number 4. So my number 4, I'm going to say because this one has a magical potion in it. Mm-hmm. And so then that creates a lot of problems. So my number 4 is, I think I've mentioned this in a list before as well, is Death Becomes Her.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a Halloween film.
Yeah.
That's not the list, but I would put that under magic and witchiness.
I'd put that in magic and witchiness. And it was a movie that I'd watched when I was younger, and I loved, to the point where I remember watching it and then being at school the next day playing with my friends, and I'll be okay, well, my character, gets a hole in their stomach, and then, I rise up and I go, there's a hole in my stomach, and, my friends were we don't have no idea what you're talking about.
Is it Meryl Streep?
Yeah, it's Meryl Streep and Goldie Hawn.
And Bruce Willis.
That's right. And so, basically, I'm going to butcher all of this because my brain's not working properly in terms of memory and everything. At the moment, I'm kind of going through a bit of brain fog. And last time we watched it, I think we watched it the same time we were watching
Hocus Pocus.
That's right.
Because I think you were in a Halloween mood as well, and you were picking some, and I was picking some. So yeah.
So I think it's Meryl Streep plays the Broadway actress. Okay. If I'm correct. And basically she's like, obsessed with being young again and wanting to be, wanting to look young and beautiful and all that sort of stuff like that. And then basically what happens is Bruce Willis's character, what does he do?
Well, isn't one of them his wife and one of them the new wife? Doesn't he replace?
Yeah. There's a love triangle that's going on there.
If I had to guess, Meryl is the old wife and Goldie Hawn is the new wife.
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
the way that I guess. Goldie Hawn
Yeah.
kind of had like a bit of a sex pot thing going on in her career for quite a while.
Yes, she did.
So I feel like that would be, if I was casting the roles, I would go Meryl Streep, the more stern older wife who maybe Bruce is looking to ditch. If I was going to like really just like pare it down to that, that's what I would do.
So then basically what happens is like Meryl Streep goes to this lady to get like a potion to make her young again. And so she takes it and it works like amazingly, instantly sort of thing, which is brilliant. But then she realizes that like she, once she becomes damaged, like, because she's basically like dead now. She's immortal now.
Yeah.
So once her body becomes damaged, like
that's
kind of it.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And then so through this major argument sort of happens. And they, I don't know I think it's Bruce Willis who does it, or maybe it's Goldie Hawn, I'm not sure. But one of them pushes Meryl Streep down a massive flight of stairs and she dies. Yeah. But she doesn't die because she's immortal. But look, her neck's like twisted all around and all this kind of stuff like that. And so then they have to do all this stuff and it's really, really like, it's just wonderful. It's just a wonderful, wonderful movie. I'm absolutely butchering this. I know everybody's going to be screaming when they're listening to this, but my brain just isn't focusing or remembering. All I remember is that it's really fun. I really like it. It's just funny. It's just like a funny... That's our dishwasher beeping, by the way, if people are wondering like what that beeping noise is. And it was just something that I found really interesting when I was young. Like I hadn't seen anything like that before, and it was, this whole idea of like coming back to life, death, and all this kind of stuff. But it wasn't done in a scary way. It was done in a funny way. Yeah. And then Meryl, Goldie Hawn also somehow gets this. I think like she also went and got the potion, or she accidentally took some or something like that. I can't remember. We've got to watch it again.
Yeah, it's a great film. Like,
it's a really great film.
I've only seen it the one time and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
The other film I think of, maybe, I don't know if it's anything like it, but I feel it's kind of in the same vein, which I've never seen, is The Witches of Eastwick, which I've always wanted to see as well.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one either.
It is available in the UK at HMV. It's on my list of
there
things
you
to
go.
get.
Well,
So,
you should totally get it.
yeah, I will be. I've got a big list of things to pick up before we go home.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, nice one.
So that's my number 4.
Excellent. Well, my next one, my number 4 is also a children's film. It's also the last children's film on my list. Now, this probably could have gone on a list later. However, it is very much full of magic. I do love this film, and it felt like a good time to talk about it. Again, not traditional magic. It's not witchcraft, but there is an enchantment, shall we say. Mm-hmm. And the film is the 2021 Disney film Encanto.
So this is my number 3.
Oh, perfect.
We can talk about it at the same time. Encanto is brilliant.
It's so good.
It's so good.
I think the biggest shame about the movie Encanto is that if it weren't for the pandemic, I think it would have superseded Frozen as the go-to Disney film. Frozen's had this incredible legacy for over 10 years now. I still can't explain why. I still don't quite know. Because it's a great film, but what is the magic of Frozen that year after year, young girls are drawn to it and becomes their favorite princess? Just forever. For 10 years, and I think Encanto would have dethroned that, but because of the pandemic, less people saw it. It didn't have the same kind of marketing hype that Frozen did. At this stage, there's no talks of sequels, which is crazy because I think you should cross over Encanto with Incredibles, personally.
You think everything should be crossed over with Incredibles?
No, because there's 2 families with powers. There's a good, and they're all very nature-based powers and stuff. Anyway, I think it's wonderful. The voice cast is incredible. Stephanie Beatriz as Mirabelle. Like, I'd only seen Stephanie Beatriz as Rosa in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'd seen her in one episode. She plays Gloria's sister in Modern Family.
Oh, yeah.
And she keeps trying to steal Gloria's husband.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I've only ever seen her as, like, kind of the hard-ass, like, the character. So hearing her, like, sing and, like, perform with such joy, I was like, wow, this... shockingly, an actor has range. But, like, it's so different from anything else she's done that I've seen her do. John Leguizamo is always great, but he's great as Bruno. Yeah. It's got one of my favourite actors, Diane Guerrero, as Isabel. Isabella, sorry. Because I first saw her in Doom Patrol, and she's also in Orange is the New Black. But just the idea of, like, this... It's kind of like this kind of, like, story passed down from generation to generation that started with this woman who, like, was migrating to America.
Oh my God, it starts off so sad.
And her family gets separated and she's, like, left with these 3 children.
Yeah.
And so, like, the earth is...
Well, her husband gets shot.
Yeah, like, I'm not saying it's as sad as Up, but it's
I
pretty
think it's
close.
supposed to be that famous painting. Keep talking and I'll look up the famous painting.
I can't remember. It's been a while since I've watched it. I watched it a bunch, but I can't remember exactly whether it's the earth or whether it's kind of like the idea is that spiritually he's done it, but, like, she is granted magic.
Yeah.
And, like, this paradise created, like, within nature that's shut out from the rest of the world so no one can get in and keep them safe because they were exposed to such kind of tragedy and devastation so early in their migration. And she raises these children... and every child is given a gift. And, like, when they get to a certain age, the door to their bedroom lights up and they get a power. Like, one girl is really strong. I can't remember her name off the top of my heart now.
Louisa.
Louisa, who's my favourite character.
She's the start of it draws inspiration because I remember studying this painting. Sorry to interrupt. I remember studying this painting at university. It's called the 3rd of May, 1808.
Okay.
And I think that's supposed to be... the start of it.
Yes.
So if you Google that painting, you'll understand, like, the imagery behind, like, that. Like, it's obviously not as blatant as that because you can literally see the guns and the blood of the people getting shot. They're not going to show that in a Disney movie.
No.
But the tones of colour and, like, the iconography of him with his hands up is very similar. Well, so I feel like it's supposed to be like that.
I think if I remember correctly, they're Colombian in Encanto. I don't think they're... I don't think it's Mexico. But if you look at
this painting is set in Madrid.
Yeah. But if you look at the history of white people and South Americans, like, that's all you need to know.
That's exactly right.
Like, that's basically what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, all the performances, the songs are really good. There's not...
my God, the songs are awesome.
Look, I would say, like, controversial. I think the soundtrack, like, track for track, is better than Frozen.
Yeah.
Like, they're more fun.
And controversially, I'm going to say that We Don't Talk About Bruno is not the best song on the track.
It's a fun song. What I like about it is, and they talk about it, I think I saw an interview with Lin-Manuel Miranda, and because the family's last name is Madrigal, and there's a song style called Madrigal, and so when you do that layered, like, everyone says different. So I like that whole part is very fun. Oh,
that's a good song.
But
I would say that Pressure's a better song.
Pressure's great.
And the one that Isabella sings is a better song.
The Hurricane of Jacarandas. Yes. Yeah, that was great.
Hurricane of Jacarandas.
The songs are all really good. That's not me discounting the Frozen songs. There's some great ones there as well, but I feel like there's a real energy and personality to the songs. It feels, like, very tied into the characters and stuff as well. Like, it suits the story really well. But it's so vibrant and visual.
I think what's also really interesting about Encanto is that there is no villain. Like, the villain is...
fear.
Like, not just fear, but it's also, like, pressure to do well. Pressure to be...
family expectations.
Family expectations. That's exactly right. That is passed on by the heads... No, I'm not going to say matriarch because it could be a patriarch.
Yeah. In this case, it is a matriarch.
In this case, it is a matriarch.
And she's
by the heads of the family of saying, we expect this of you. This is how you should behave in this family. And that is actually what sort of breaks apart the family. And
even hers, like, even Abuela's kind of, like, the way she treats Mirabel is not deliberate. It's from her own fear. Like,
Yes.
I once lost everything. I never want to lose everything again. I don't want my family to lose everything.
Yeah.
So therefore we must, like, respect the Encanto. You
Yeah.
know, we need to do well.
And that's the thing, like, you could argue that that's the same with Frozen, because if Elsa's father hadn't had so much fear
Yeah.
about controlling the magic, controlling the powers, not letting it out, conceal, don't feel, don't let it show, be a good girl, blah, 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 blah. Like, if he had actually had a different aspect, the whole storyline would have been different. But obviously the bad guy is Hans.
Yeah.
Whereas there is no bad guy in this movie. It's just like this whole, how do you be a family? And that whole scene where Bruno is in the walls.
Oh my God.
And he has the table.
Well, I remember because the first time we watched it, you missed that part because you were doing something. And I was like, oh, you have to watch this bit because, like, he just painted a plate on the table with his name on it so he could still be with his family.
Oh my God. And that just makes me so sad.
So I just remember the rat theatre.
Yeah.
He's got the rats doing telenovelas.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so rewatchable. And unlike, again, like, this is feeling like anti-Frozen propaganda. It's not. I've just heard Frozen so much. Like, Zoe has watched so much Frozen, listened to so much Frozen.
Yeah.
Even I find that those songs, like, there are some really good songs in there, and some songs I'm like, look, I don't need to hear like that. I don't need to hear Let It Go for a while. But like, I feel like the Encanto songs are so much, because there's so much energy and personality, they're very re-listenable. I'm like, yeah, let's put. They're like fun, and they're like, I don't know. I enjoy all of that. And
it's just such a bright, well animated movie. Like, it's so beautifully animated.
And I know it's not new to make the, like, husbands dopey and dolty and stuff, but I like the dopey dolty husbands in this. Like, how because, like, I'm just saying, like, I think all the characters are really well rounded.
Yeah.
I like that, Mirabelle's mum, her power is that her food heals people, which is very much a cultural thing.
Yeah.
Like, your mum will be like, oh, just eat more, or like, your grandma will eat more. And they're like, literally made a power. Meanwhile, like, thank God she is, because her dad's always like putting his head in like beehives and stuff like that. And is it Dolores who can like hear it? No, who does the storms? Who's got the Dolores can hear things.
Yeah. It starts with P.
Tia Paula?
No, it's like
Pepper. Yeah. And she can do the storms and stuff. Yeah, I love it. But I've been talking about it a lot, so I'll throw it to you so you can talk about it.
I just think it's I just think it's a beautiful movie. And that's the thing, it's so funny, you're right, because I saw that Encanto had come out and all this kind of stuff like that. Like you said, like, it was during lockdown. I was like, do I really? It doesn't look that interesting. Do I really need to watch it? And, there was some Encanto toys coming out and everything. I was like, And then when I gave it a shot, I'm like, this is amazing. And so then when Wish came out, I was like, oh, well, it'll be, like, I'm like, about it. Like, oh, how good can it be? And then I watched Wish and I was like, that was shit.
I still haven't seen Wish.
Oh, it's shit. So, like, it was really good that, it was really good to take a punt on Encanto and it pay off so well.
I think the other thing is, like, if you look at the poster for Frozen, or like that era, because like every decade, the art styles change a little bit.
I think I know what it is.
The poster for Frozen, it's like she's shooting ice out, she's wearing a dress, and like there's tragedy, and like the poster for Encanto is just like Mirabelle, who's
being like wah, wah.
And she's like visually not that interesting. Like she's just kind of like,
I think the reason Frozen is so, it draws in girls is because Elsa is so beautiful. I think that's what it is. The reason I loved Pocahontas so much, and the reason why a lot of girls love Ariel and the Little Mermaid so much, is because those characters are beautiful. Like, I was in love with Pocahontas. Yeah. She was stunning. The way she was animated was beautiful. I wanted to be as beautiful as her. And I see that with Zoe when she watches Frozen. She loves having her Elsa plait because it's just like Elsa, and Elsa's beautiful, and you know, she's got this hair that just magically moves, and her eyes are big, and she's just this beautiful creature. And it's the same with Ariel and the Little Mermaid, the way her hair is animated and everything like that. And so I think it's got to do with little girls seeing that, falling in love with the beauty of that character, and then wishing they could be that character, because they're not falling in love with Anna. Do you know what I mean? They're not like, all the girls want to be Elsa because Elsa is sleek and elegant, whereas Anna's like the goofball.
There might be something to that, because I was thinking, like, because Tangled, I probably like Rapunzel in Tangled more than I like Elsa in Frozen, but I would say personality-wise, Rapunzel's closer to Anna, which is like a bit of a goof and stuff like that.
But then she also has this beautiful long blonde hair that glows, and she's beautifully animated, bright green eyes. Because if you look at my niece Sophia, she loves Rapunzel, and Zoe loves Rapunzel as well. And so I think it's this whole, they really beautify these characters. And then you look at Mirabelle, and she's got glasses, and
she looks like a normal
she's frumpy
person,
and she's got curly hair, and she looks like a normal person. So nobody's aspiring to
That's
be...
true, because you know who's Zoe's favourite character in
Yes.
Encanto is? It's Isabella.
It's Isabella.
Who is the beautiful one.
Exactly.
And makes flowers and stuff
Exactly. And so if that doesn't tell you from such a young age how, you know, girls are conditioned to want to be beautiful as opposed to want to have heart and soul and...
Which is interesting, because I don't think at any point in Frozen do they talk about Elsa's beauty. They're like, she was so beautiful and amazing. Like, I think like
but even just the way she walks when she does
she does have a very hippie walk.
That hippie booby walk.
Yeah.
Even Olaf makes fun of it later on, you know?
Yeah. I'm trying to think who was... I think it's... Christopher's like, Elsa.
But that's also the other interesting thing is that with Frozen 2, they really made an effort. I don't know if you've noticed this, but they've really made an effort with Elsa to militarize her. And so she does, when she gets into the forest, like, she's wearing pants. So she's wearing that dress top thing and there's pants underneath. And then she has that whole moment where she like blasts the snow out and she's stopping the wind. And like, she's very militant, and she's, you know, with the army, but then she's also kind with the Northuldra people. And so they're really trying to make her this character, which is great, which is fantastic. But they're trying to really make her this character that isn't just like this pretty, I'm in love with a prince, like Ariel kind of character.
Well, she was never that character.
She was never that character.
It's interesting you mentioned...
But in that first movie, she's this scared woman who runs away and doesn't know what to do. And in the second movie, she's really like, you know... this is what I want, this is what I need to do, this is my calling, I'm happy with who I am now, and all that sort of stuff like that. So I really think it's good that they did that, because I think Disney has realised that the reason girls like these movies that are coming out is because they're just making pretty girls.
Well, that's been their business for 100 years, isn't it? Like,
that's why I don't, but that's also the thing, that's why I don't like showing Zoe, the Little Mermaid, because Ariel, first things first, I know we're going completely off on a different tangent, but Ariel, first things first, like, you know, falls in love with the prince, loses her voice, literally, like, is the clumsy goofball, I need a man to help pick me up.
She's
like,
she's
because I don't know how
Annie
to
in the Christmas
walk.
pageant.
Sort of thing. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like...
So she's all of those things. But even if you cut all of that away, if you just look at the picture of Ariel, she is so fucking skinny. She is so skinny. And those iconic moments where she's like on the rock,
she's got
and
swimmer's
the water
body.
comes up and splashes. She is so unrealistically thin that I'm like, I don't want my daughter watching that and being like, wow, she's so beautiful. And like, she's beautiful because her hair is beautiful. But like, Zoe's not going to notice that. Zoe's going to look at the whole picture and be like, she's so beautiful, and because of the way that she has been drawn. Whereas Elsa and Anna, like, they're still thin. They're still very thin, sort of thing. But at least there's a bit more thickness to them. Ariel looks like you could blow and she'd fall over like a piece of paper, sort of thing. Whereas at least Anna and Elsa have a bit more sort of like thickness to their bodies.
That is the thing, like...
But she is still extremely svelte.
Like, and that's what, that is good about Encanto, because you also got Luisa, who is fit, because she's physically fit, because she's strong, but she's got a real body. She's got like a bodybuilder's body.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. And look, Isabella's clearly like just Disney Princess 101. But most of the characters, like, I don't know, I think there's a lot of diversity in there, and not just in the colour of the skin, like body shapes and sizes for all the characters in Encanto.
Yeah.
It is happening more. Turning Red did it as well.
Yeah.
It's not so much a physical thing, but that's what I liked about Luca. Like, Luca is not a story about, like, men being strong or being conquerors, or that, like, Luca is a story about, like, the importance of friendship.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, let's just be friends. I just met this guy, and he likes things, and I like things, so let's be friends. And then there's a girl, and the girl is a lot more, like, she's kind of an outcast and stuff, but she's not a princess. She's like, like, everyone calls me Puko because I used to throw up on the race or whatever. I can't remember what her name was.
I haven't seen Luca.
Oh, did you not watch it with us?
We watched like 10 minutes and she was
good.
like, no, I don't want to watch this. Turn off.
Every time I watch it, it makes me cry. Yeah. Like, the last 10 minutes destroys me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Encanto also on your list.
Yes.
It's so good. It's really good. I'm going to say it. I would say top 5 Disney films of all time for me, Encanto.
Yeah, I would agree.
I would shoot it up right to the top, especially because a lot of the older ones don't hold up so well. All right, well, my number 3, now we're getting into some magic, now we're getting into some witchcraft, now we're getting into some spookiness. Now, it's so weird to have this on the same list as Encanto and Matilda. But my number 3 is out in like 2015, 2016, I think. Directorial debut of a man named Robert Eggers, and it's called The Witch. It's not marketed as a horror film. He calls it a New England folktale, but there's definitely some spooky stuff in it.
Yeah.
It is the feature debut of Anya Taylor-Joy.
Okay.
She still looks like I think she's like 16 in it. Like, you can tell she looks like a child. Like, she's got, like, if you look at pictures of her now, you're like, you can tell, like, she's got cheekbones now. Like, she's got like it sounds cruel to say, but you can tell, like, she's got like her child fat on her still.
Puppy fat.
Yeah. But she's wonderful in it. She's really good at it. Ralph Ineson is in it, who played one of the Carrows in the Harry Potter films. You would recognise him if you saw him. And he's in with the voice of Galactus coming up as well. But basically it's about this family and the 1600s New England, and the movie opens with them being excommunicado from their village because the family is suspected of witchcraft. And, like, he's, like, a good, like, proper, like, no, I'm not a heathen. Like, we worship the Lord and things like that. So it's, like, a father and wife and their 3 children, one of whom is a baby. And it's a very slow film. It's not what you would kind of associate typical horror with. Like, it's very quiet. It's very, and, like, they speak in, like, a New England tongue as well. So it's even not modern English. There is, like, a lot of, like, THs and thous and stuff in their language. And it's just kind of like this family's descent into horror over 90 minutes or whatever, as, like, weird things start happening on their farm. Like, a plague comes through and animals start to die. Yeah. There's one particular, it's not, you don't see it, but there's like you couldn't watch this film now. Like, back when it came out, you probably could have. Now that you're a mother, you couldn't watch it. And I'll leave it at that. And so it's not,
baby dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not gratuitous, like it is, but at the same time, you're like, because that's what was associated with witchcraft in the 1600s. And there's an evil goat called Black Pete. And he is evil. He definitely causes some mischief.
Is he evil or is he just a goat?
He definitely kills someone with his horns.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
We could possibly fast forward through the baby stuff because it's wonderful. It's such a well-made film. Like, it's such a love letter to that period. Like, it feels authentic. Like, they're all dressed in, like, the New England kind of Dutch style attire. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
like the Dutch head.
I guess.
I guess.
Pilgrim.
Yeah, pilgrim. That's the word I'm thinking
Yeah.
of. I don't know why I think Dutch. Well, I guess I don't know. But yeah, and the whole time it's like they start to like suspect maybe their teenage daughter, and I think because she had her period, if I remember correctly, they're like, well, she must be a witch.
Yeah, God forbid.
And
She
like,
gets her period, she's a witch.
but then like the other children start to come into harm, and yeah, like as I said, like plague starts to affect, and it's just like this very like slow, quiet film about how witchcraft was perceived in that time, but then it also happens to be a story that is absolutely about witchcraft and witches are real.
Oh, yeah.
And the final scene I think is awesome. I'm going to spoil The Witch, guys. If you haven't watched The Witch yet, like, what are you doing? Go watch The Witch. But I'm going to spoil it for you because you're probably not going to watch it. She ultimately ends up leaving her family. Some of them do die. And she ends up like signing a contract in blood to become a sister of Satan.
Oh, cool.
And the last scene is her walking naked into the woods. And then you see like a campfire surrounded by trees and all these like women just flying in the air like naked.
Oh, cool.
And like hailing Satan.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's badass. It's really cool. Like, it's a really cool witch film. This guy has not made a bad movie. This was his first film. Then he went and made The Lighthouse with Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe, which is like about these guys who are crazy in a lighthouse in the 1600s or like that kind of time, and they think they're seeing mermaids and stuff.
Yeah.
Then he did The Northman, which was the Alexander Skarsgård Viking movie, which is also really awesome. And then this year he's got a remake of Nosferatu coming out.
Cool.
This guy just makes cool movies.
What's his name, did you say?
Robert Eggers.
Okay.
Yeah, he looks like a lumberjack. He's just like this dude with a big beard, and he just like makes like these like really like cool like in touch with nature style like story, and they're all long stories. They're all like slow. Like I like that he takes his time. It doesn't feel like it's all about kind of just like taking in the characters and like their story and just like absorbing it all, as opposed to being like, here's an action scene, here's an action, here's magic, it's just like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think he's a really unique brand of filmmaking, and no one quite tells stories the way he does. He hasn't had a miss for me so far. I know some people didn't like The Northman as much, but it's great. It's really good. But The Witch is such a wonderful film about witchcraft. Probably the best one I've seen. Well, there's obviously more on my list, so not the best one I've seen. Yeah. There's another film that came out from, I think it's Germany, called Hagazusa, which is very much the same sort of thing. It's very thematically and tonally looks almost exactly like The Witch. That one's quite good. And I think they were both inspired by Haxan, which is a 20s film, which is getting its first ever Blu-ray release later this month. Which
1920s?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, 1920s, which I'll be getting later this month. But yeah, The Witch, can't recommend enough. Like, if you want to get in the Halloween spirit, if you want to get into a witchy mood, like, it's in the title, The Witch. Go watch it. It's so good. Which fast forward us to number 2. It feels like we've moved through this pretty quickly. Although we have been talking for over an hour, I think. So, well over an hour.
So my second one, I don't know if this counts as magic.
Well, we'll see what my number 2 is.
There is one potion in it.
Is it Death Becomes Her again?
No. It is Nightmare Before Christmas.
Okay, what's the potion?
Well, Sally makes a sleeping potion and that's it. But like, I don't know, like it just feels magic-y because it's about like Halloween.
I think it counts. It definitely feels like, again, we're talking about movies that we're focusing mainly on witchcraft and magic, but we are trying to like get into the Halloween spirits, so I don't think it's a bad choice for a film.
But yeah, like I think it's very tonally, it's very sort of like, I should have done like a Macbeth movie or something like that.
I don't know if it's on your list yet, so don't answer if it is, but I honestly thought The Crucible would come up, because I know you've seen The Crucible.
Yeah, I was thinking of Crucible when you were talking about The Witch. I've seen it, but I saw it so long ago that I can't remember. I do love the book, The Crucible.
What about the episode of The Simpsons where they have the first ever caramel cod?
Yeah, well, I can't do
TV
shows, because if I did, I would have done Sabrina the Teenage Witch, obviously. The episode where they have to like bake a boyfriend is the best. We should watch that. You haven't watched Sabrina, have you?
I've seen episodes.
Oh my god! Okay.
I wonder if, and not the Chilling Adventures, the original
with
Melissa Joan.
Adventures,
Do you know? Just side note, because we were talking about like unrealistic expectations of women in film before.
Yeah.
Do you know that her most recent role, Melissa Joan Hart, was cast as a grandmother?
Yes.
She's 50.
Sorry, I'm just checking up how we can watch Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
I can look it
on,
up.
Oh, you got to pay for it. On Apple TV, you got to pay for it. Prime, you got to pay for it. YouTube, you got to pay for it.
I wonder if it's on Blu-ray. It's definitely on DVD, but I'll see if it's on Blu-ray.
Because I'd like to.
Because I got a few box sets I'm going to try and pick up before we leave.
Yeah.
So, and I'll just import it if I can't get.
It's such a good show.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. Nightmare Before Christmas is just great. It's just one of those movies where, as I'm talking, I'm feeling like it shouldn't be on this list.
Okay. I literally put Matilda on. And my next one...
Yeah, there's more magic in Matilda than there is in Nightmare
My next
Before
one,
Christmas.
I think, is going to raise an eyebrow too as well. So.
Okay. Well, my number one is magic.
Yeah.
Totally magic. So that makes up for this. So obviously, like, you have all the songs, which I think are really great. They're by, what's his face?
Danny Elfman.
Yes, that's right.
Well,
he
voices Jack, yeah.
Yeah, and he voices Jack. And that's the thing, like, I didn't know that until recently. Like, you said that, I was like, oh, that's crazy.
I think he became friends with Tim Burton through Batman. Because I think Danny Elfman did did he do the score for the first Batman movie? I want to say he did.
I think you're right.
Prince did a lot of the music for the first Batman movie, but I think Danny Elfman was involved as well.
Yeah.
Because Danny Elfman and Tim Burton are pretty much, or maybe in Beetlejuice they met.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's where they met. But if
So
you
I watched, when I was a little girl, I saw like a scene of Beetlejuice and it scared the shit out of me, so I've never watched it. And I also found, then I watched, I think, like another clip or two when I was a teenager, and I found him absolutely insufferable.
I watched...
I refused to watch it.
It was either the start of this year or the end of last year where I finally watched Beetlejuice for the first time, because I'd never seen it before either.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it, but my favourite scenes of Beetlejuice are when Beetlejuice isn't in it.
Yeah.
Like, it's just more this, like, he's just incidental to the plot.
He seems like, it seems like I would hate it how I hated The Mask.
Yeah. It's,
It's
actually,
like
it was
can you
last
shut the fuck up kind of.
It was last year because you were doing rehearsals for your stage show.
Mm.
Or no, not your stage show, the 10-minute plays, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I remember you came home and you're like, oh, you're watching Beetlejuice. How is it? I'm like, you would hate this.
Yes, that's right.
Like,
that's
I know
right.
you well enough to be like, you would absolutely hate this.
Yeah, I see clips of it and I'm just like, this guy can fuck off.
He's really annoying.
Yeah.
Apparently the sequel's pretty good, so I will check it out eventually. But
yeah, so Nightmare Before Christmas.
yes, Night Before Christmas.
Nightmare Before Christmas. It's just like really well animated, really poignant. You know, all he wants to do is just try something different, and nobody will let him try something different. And I think that's really the core of the story. Is like, here's this guy, he's stuck in a rut. Everybody is just going along with the status quo. He's like, discovers this amazing, beautiful thing called Christmas. He's like, guys, listen to this thing. And everybody's like, what the fuck? You're crazy. And that's essentially just what it is, I think, at the end of the day. And then he goes on a power trip and believes that he can be, I can do Christmas. I can be Santa Claus. But like, it's just beautifully animated. Sally is a little bit... No, you know what? I like Sally as a character. I really like Sally as a character.
She's a zombie?
No, she's not a zombie. She's just a girl who's been made.
Okay. So
Because
Eve.
she's made of like leaves and stuff. Like her stuffing on the inside.
It's been a while
is
since I've
leaves
watched
and
it, so...
everything.
I remember, I've actually only seen Night Before Christmas once.
Oh, really?
Like, from start to finish.
We watched it just the other day.
Yeah,
Zoe
no.
and
I think I was
Yeah.
sleeping when you guys were watching it.
Yeah.
Because I always thought, and again, having not watched it, I've only seen it once, I've only seen the other film once, I always thought that, like, in a way, Corpse Bride was a prequel to Night Before Christmas.
Oh, yeah. I love Corpse Bride.
Because the Corpse Bride looks a bit like Sally as well.
Yeah. No, it's Corpse Bride, she's a zombie.
Yeah.
She's a skeleton, sort of thing. Corpse Bride almost made it to the list, but then I couldn't remember any magic that was in Corpse Bride.
Yeah.
Other than her being
Yeah.
reanimated. Yeah, that's exactly right. Whereas Sally is actually, like, sewn together with fabric, and then she's stuffed with leaves. So she's kind of like a Raggedy Ann doll, basically. More than anything. She's not a zombie. But yeah, like, I think I think it's just a really lovely movie. I'm surprised at how Zoe is not scared by it. Because I think if I watched that when I was a kid, because I watched it when I was a teenager, if I watched it when I was a kid, I think I would have been scared by it.
I think that she goes through different phases of what scares her because she likes skeletons, some skeletons, but not other skeletons.
Yeah.
Like before when we were playing the Switch, I showed her a Mario costume where he's a skeleton, and she was like, I don't like that because it's a skeleton with a mustache.
Yeah. But yeah, I really love. I mean, obviously, my favorite scene is the Christmas scene, and what's this, and he like goes into like Christmas town and everything, because it's just like so cute. But yeah, no, I don't really have much else to say on it other than, I think it's a movie that works well for this season as well. It works for Halloween. It works for Christmas. Like you can watch it in both seasons. It's maybe a little bit too sad.
Okay.
Could be a little bit more lighthearted. All the Oogie Boogie stuff is a bit intense.
Did you see the actor who played Oogie Boogie just passed away the other day?
No, I didn't.
Only in the last couple of days,
there you go. But all that stuff's animated really cool because it's like UV lighting.
The animation holds up incredibly well. I haven't watched the movie from start to finish more than once, but I've seen clips and like obviously Zoe's interested in it and like it looks great.
Yeah.
And that's like old school, like proper claymation. Like,
but I love how Jack is like, oh well, I'll be Santa, and so then he comes to the real world and just fucks everybody's life up by giving the kids like these dangerous, biting, disgusting toys. That's hilarious.
He's kind of like the anti-Grinch, but also like as bad as the Grinch in a way.
Yeah, that's right.
My favourite piece of trivia about The Night Before Christmas is that it wasn't directed by Tim Burton, because everyone thinks it was, but it's not.
No, that's right.
It's Timo something, some Russian guy, I think.
But he
came up with the story.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think he was working on Batman or Beetlejuice or something like that. When,
okay, so he couldn't direct it.
So he produced and I think he wrote it, that's a good one.
What's your number 2?
My number 2 is the most like popular movie on the list, but it's really great. It's really underrated. People don't talk about it enough. It is a Marvel movie. I'm going to say my top 10 of all the Marvel films. Maybe my top 5 is cutting it close, but I really like it. And it's Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
I love Doctor Strange.
I did think of this when I was making my list. Yeah.
I would argue the second one is more witchy because you have the Scarlet Witch in there as well. But like story-wise, visual-wise, I just think the first one carries the edge for me. It's like Multiverse of Madness, you've got Scarlet Witch blowing up, people's heads and stuff. And that's good witch behavior. But I like the character of Stephen Strange. I like his journey. I like the style of magic they use. Obviously,
it's really cool.
Obviously, moving in,
it's mixing in with like Tibetan monk.
Yeah, well, going into it, like obviously, Doctor Strange has been around since the 60s, like so, and you can tell by some of the visuals they use, like especially like when he falls through the multiverse and there's like the magic eye, and when he gets to kind of cast out of his body for the first time, he goes into like the spirit world or whatever. Going into it, I know Marvel were like, we have to compete with Harry Potter, we have to compete with Lord of the Rings. DC have their own thing. DC really haven't done much magic yet, but they've got Zatanna. They've got like all these great magic characters, like Constantine and stuff. So I'm sure they're like, we have to make sure whatever we do is our own thing. And visually, it's unlike anything else in their universe until Doctor Strange is incorporated. So like in Infinity War, all the Doctor Strange stuff obviously looks the same. And I almost put Infinity War in, but I'm like, it's not a Doctor Strange film.
Yeah.
Even though it's got the best magic, I think, out of all the movies. But I love the story, like the opening of, the Ancient One being hunted down the street by the like the evil sorcerers and stuff like that. And then she like uses the sling ring and suddenly the world is folding in on itself and she's climbing up the tiles. Like all of that stuff looks really cool. I like Stephen Strange. Like he's very much like Tony Stark in a lot of ways. I like that he's brilliant but so incredibly
arrogant,
proud that he's flawed that way. I like that his one gift is his hand, so they get taken away in the first 10 minutes. Right. And like Benedict Cumberbatch plays it so well.
He does.
Tilda Swinton as the Ancient One is great. Not BD Wong. Oh, it's not BD Wong. It's other Wong. Benedict Wong.
Yeah.
There's two.
Benedict Cumberbatch, Benedict Wong.
Benedict Wong. Like he's great as Wong. Caecilius, the villain, the one who like is studying the Darkholme or whatever it is, is trying to like bring in Dormammu to like undo the world and stuff. All those things, like the changing doors into different realms. Like, that's
I forgot about that bit.
Like the cloak, he's got the cloak so like it lets him fly, but also like it protects him, like it drags him away from fights and stuff. There's that great line. Whereas like you are Mr. It's like Doctor, Mr. Doctor, it's strange. Who could tell? Like just the wordplay and stuff like that. And there's that really beautiful moment where the Ancient One is dying, and Doctor Strange is dying, and the Ancient One is dying as well, and they're like sitting on the edge of a building as like the world is coming undone before the end of the movie, and he's like, what do I do here? And she's like, I don't know. The future is unclear. Like I don't see a straight path for you, and that's because like he's gonna have such an integral role to play in the future, but like based on the decisions he makes. All the time stuff, just like slowing things down, speeding things up. When he's fighting Dormammu and like there's planets and galaxies and like amoebas and like it's just. And I haven't even talked about like just the discs, like
that's right, or even just the visuals of like the sling ring and doing that spinning, and just it's kind of like there's a thing that I've seen in photography where like you get a piece of steel wool and you put it inside a whisk. And you set it on fire and you spin it around, and if you do a long shutter speed, it creates this circle of like sparkler, basically. It looks exactly like a sling.
I was saying, it makes me think of like the sparklers people do.
It's like sparklers, like this spitting fire type of thing. It's really cool. And
I like how the order that he joins, I can't remember their names right now, it's been a minute since I watched Doctor Strange, how like almost everyone in the temple is someone who's got some sort of disability, and they use magic to heal themselves. So there's a guy with a broken back, and he used magic to walk again. And like there's one guy with no hands, because Doctor Strange is like, how can I use a sling ring? My hands don't work. And like they look to a guy who's got no hands. And he's doing it. I don't know. Like it's just, I feel like this film got, not that it's been forgotten, because obviously that character made such an impact, and people love all his scenes in the other movies. But I feel like no one talks about it. Like, it kind of got buried between Thor Ragnarok and Spider-Man Homecoming and Civil War. So these big, like, major characters. And, like, no one talks about it. But it's such a well-made, well-executed film. It's really tight. The storytelling's really good. All the characters done. Baron Mordo, I didn't even talk about him, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor. He's a great character as well. It's kind of like his master who then turns bad at the end of the movie because he's done with magic. It's great. It's a great magic film. It's not hocus pocus, waving wands, casting enchantments, but at the same time, and then by extension of that, if you go to Infinity War, that scene where he's fighting Thanos by himself. And he's like, welcome to the mirror dimension, this is my realm. And then Thanos just smashes him with the glove. And there's like all the different bands, and like he duplicates himself, makes the butterflies. It's so good. Some of my favourite stuff in like, I love the grounded Captain America stuff, and I love just the insanity of Doctor Strange. I can't wait to see what they do with him next. Like I feel like there's still so much to play with that character. But yeah, so it was almost number one, but I want to go with a really witchy one for number one, so I'm saving that for number one. But Doctor Strange, for sure.
Nice.
Speaking of number ones, what is your...
My number one is a movie that is so steeped in magic. Like, it has every single magical trope, fantasy trope possible. It is Stardust.
Yeah, Stardust was mentioned recently on another episode.
Stardust is so good. Like, I haven't seen it in a while. I remember reading the book and loving the book. I know there's issues with Neil Gaiman at the moment.
Yeah.
But putting that aside, the actual artwork, and we're looking at the artwork, not the artist, the book is brilliant. The book is so beautifully written. The movie completely does the book justice as well. I love the different storylines and interlocking storylines. So you've got the whole thing about like the seven brothers, or not even seven brothers, but like, there's Septimus and there's like the other ones. They're all called like, uno, duo, tre, but like they're
Yeah.
all named after the numbers of what they're born and all that sort of stuff like that. Like looking for the star, and the star is, spoiler alert, the star is Una, the daughter, and is it? No, it's not.
Claire Danes plays a star.
Claire Danes plays the star, that's right.
Yeah.
Who's Una again? His mum, the guy's mum? I can't remember. But, you know, there's pirates. Robert De Niro
fantastic
is a brilliant pirate in it.
You've got Charlie Cox as the lead.
Charlie Cox is the lead. You've got Elle Macpherson as the witch.
No, Michelle Pfeiffer.
Michelle Pfeiffer, sorry. I get those two confused. Michelle Pfeiffer as the witch. And they're looking for the heart of the star because that gives them youth. It's like her and her two sisters, and then she ends up killing off her two sisters, and she's going for the star herself. It's shot in the UK, I believe, because the landscape must be Scotland. It is stunning.
Yeah, well, it's a very British story as well, isn't it? Like, even
story.
if it's not set in Britain, like just the approach to storytelling the approach to storytelling and fantasy is very British.
Yeah, and it's literally like, you know, and like the crossover from the real world, because it's like Charlie Cox is like got a crush on this girl in the village, and then she's like, all right, I'll go out on a date with you, if you like. And he's like, I'll get you this star, sort of thing. Like, I saw a star land and I'll get you this star. And she's like, sure, fine, whatever, cool. But she's an absolute bitch and all this kind of stuff like that. And then it turns out, you know, he finds that the star is actually Claire Danes, and they go on this adventure, and he's, you know, trying to bring the star back to this girl that, you know, he likes, and then he ends up falling in love with Claire Danes and everything. It's just really great. Like, every single magic trope you could think of, every single like stereotype is written into the story, but written into the story so well. And so then the witch is obviously hunting the star as well, and then you've got Septimus, who is hunting the star as well, and he's like going to kill his brothers, and he kills all his brothers and stuff like that. It's just great. It's really, really good. It's funny. It's got really great tension. The way that it's edited is really good. Beautiful soundtrack. Gorgeous soundtrack.
I feel like it'd be a really good companion piece to Princess Bride.
Yes,
I feel like that'd be a great double feature, Stardust and Princess Bride.
Absolutely, I think so. It would also make a really good television series as well. Like, there's so much in it that you could follow. It would make it. There would be a really good TV show.
Well, that movie's almost 15 years old. Like, you know, and in the world of reboots and remakes, like, it's probably on its way.
What do you remember of Stardust?
Not much. It's been like the last time I watched it was the last time we were heading to the UK. The night before we flew out, we watched Stardust. Yeah. I remember mainly Michelle Pfeiffer and Robert De Niro. De Niro obviously being this fearsome pirate that everyone, you know, is intimidated by, and then turns out like he likes to dress in women's clothes. Yeah, and he's really like friendly and lovely. And they end up having like a great time on the pirate ship. Yeah. And I remember
and it's like a pirate ship that like flies through the air.
Flying pirate ship. Yeah. And I remember Michelle Pfeiffer, like her ugly face and like her witch face and stuff like that. I was talking about this, I think it was when Gabby and Andre were on, we were talking about fantasy, and I think Gabby mentioned Stardust. And like, it just seems to be like such a trope that all evil witches crave. Like, their whole driving force is to become young. Like, Hocus Pocus. Yes. And this. And
Death Becomes Her.
And like, there's so many, like, I can't remember.
They don't want to look like an old hag. They want to be young and beautiful.
But it's always, like, even Banjo-Kazooie, like, she wants to be young. She steals Banjo's sister so she can take her youth.
And that's like her beautiful voice.
Yeah. But I remember loving it. Like, I've only seen it a couple of times, but it's a really fun flick. Really good.
You should really read the book. It's short, which is good because then it's just like a quick read.
I started reading it, I think, when we lived in Lilydale, and I was like, I'll get back to this. And it was before I was reading a lot of books, because then when I started reading a lot of books, I was reading tons of books. But I just haven't got to it, so I'll pick it up at some point. I think when we get back to Australia, I'll get back into a bit more reading, try and find that balance again. But
yeah, so now my number one, Stardust. You cannot fault it. It's like 10 stars in my opinion. Like, it's just a brilliantly made movie.
Nice. My number one, as I said, is very witchy. I want to do something Halloween-y, something spooky, but also like very much on brand. So I've chosen a movie that came out in 2018. It's a remake of a classic 70s Italian film, which is, a no-go. You don't remake classic Italian horror films. It's kind of spat against. People don't like it. But this film is brilliant. It's so brilliant. I think it's better than the original, which I know is...
heresy.
Heresy, my friend.
Heresy, blasphemy.
Yeah, blasphemy.
One of those things.
But it's wonderful. And I dare anyone to try and prove me otherwise. And it is Suspiria.
I knew it was going to be Suspiria.
Because it's written down on the page right there.
Yeah, but also, you talk about Suspiria all the time.
It's really good.
Yeah.
So directed by Luca Guadagnino, who did...
You've mentioned this. You've mentioned it on the podcast before,
Have I?
you?
I don't think so. I've been saving it.
I thought you mentioned it in an episode with Nick.
I might have mentioned that it was good, but I don't
Okay.
think I've gone into too much detail.
Right, cool. Yeah, baby.
But yeah, so directed by Luca Guadagnino, who did Call Me By Your Name and most recently Challenges.
Mm-hmm.
It's a remake of a Dario Argento film. So Dario Argento invented horror in Italy, basically. Reinvented. He started the Giallo movement, which was these really violent slashes that, were dubbed in English and used pop songs to they're really fascinating. It's a really fascinating kind of chapter in horror history. This is not that at all. I think that's why it works so well. So it's set post Civil War, I think. I don't know which one, so don't ask me. And they're in Italy.
What? In Italy?
I'm pretty sure it's in Italy.
Okay.
The original one was in Italy. I can't remember if it's in Italy or in France. Honestly, for what happens in this film, it's not super relevant.
Yeah.
And a young girl joins a ballet school. It's a really competitive ballet school. You wouldn't know it because it's such a rundown building. It looks really decrepit. And the reason I love Last Night in Soho so much is it reminds me so much of Suspiria.
Right. Yeah.
It's the same sort of thing. It's like a girl from kind of the outside coming to an art school, wanting to prove herself, and then weird things start happening. So she goes to this art school, and she's played by Dakota Johnson, my dad's favorite actress.
Yeah.
Mia Goth's also
For
in
two
it.
reasons.
Two. Yeah. I was going to make a joke. I'm like, we'll leave it there. And yeah, weird things just start happening. It's really competitive. There's a lot of pressure on them to be the best dancers they can be. The place is run by these weird old women who are talking behind their back and in hushed corners. And there's something not quite right with these women. And it turns out that and this is a huge spoiler, by the way, if anyone hasn't seen it, but it is a 6-year-old movie based on a 45-year-old movie, is that the ballet school is built on a witch coven.
Right.
And so, I don't know why ballet is so integral to their magic, but basically, anyone who's not good enough does start to get killed. And, there's this amazing scene of a girl practicing in, the ballet room with all the mirrors.
Yeah. I wouldn't be able to do this then.
And, there's, in another room, one of the witches is casting an incantation, and you don't really put it together at this point because you're just what's going on in this movie? And the woman who plays the girl dancing is a contortionist, so her body starts twisting up, but it's all done practically because she can do it. It is pretty disturbing. I'm not gonna lie. And then as opening night or performance gets closer and closer, people start dying and disappearing, and then the final act, the last 20 minutes of this film, I can't watch with the lights off. And it's not because it's super scary, it's just so visually overstimulating. It's just I need to be able to look at normal things, because they descend into the room underneath the house, and everyone's covered in blood and naked, and Dakota Johnson's tearing open her own chest to offer her heart to Satan and stuff like this.
Yeah.
Tilda Swinton is in this movie twice. That was a big spoiler at the time. People were shocked by this. She plays the headmistress of the dance studio, but she also plays this old man therapist who's who is working with Chloe Grace Moretz, who's only in the film at the start, if I remember correctly. Chloe Grace Moretz is in it for a little bit. It's just so... There's just so much to it. It's just it's really hard for me to explain why I like it so much. It's just so ambitious.
Yeah.
And it's so it's taking big swings, trying to be different. It's trying not only to be different in the modern kind of landscape of horror and witchcraft stories, but also trying to be so different from the film that it's based on, without doing that thing that some films will do, where they're oh, we're going to remake it, but it's going to be nothing like the original.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to give it some edge. It's not like that at all. If anything, like, it goes in the other direction. It's like, your film was really colourful and loud, so we're going to go monotone and quiet. We're going to focus, less on the drama between the girls and more on the dancing, like, and more on, like, kind of the teachers, because the teachers, I haven't seen the original in a long time, but more about, like, kind of their whisperings behind the scenes and stuff. And it's just, I don't know, like, it's a 2.5 hour movie. Like, it's long. I cannot avert my eyes for a second when I'm watching it. It's just so, like, brilliantly executed. It might have been 2.5. It is really long, though. And that final act, like, because there's this scene, and you might have seen images from it, the dance number they're doing, they're wearing, like, they're not even wearing dresses, they're wearing, like, these ropes around their bodies, like these red ropes, and I think it's meant to symbolize, like, life and blood and stuff like that. And the way they move it, and it's the way they're dancing, it's like in like a
marionette puppet.
No, I'm trying to describe the lighting. It's not a blackout, obviously, because it wouldn't be anything, but like the lighting is so very much like self-contained, like it makes this large room feel small, and the way they move is very angular, and like they're using the it's almost very cultish the way they move, which I think is very deliberate because they're a witch coven, but these girls don't know they're a witch coven, like they're slowly being absorbed, like kind of absolved into the witch coven. It's fun. I remember the last time I watched it, I texted Maddie, I'm like, have you ever watched Suspiria? I know you're not a big horror person, but you're a ballet person. I think just from a ballet point of view, you would love Suspiria. But it's just incredible. Like, it's just, and I feel like I haven't even told you what it's about. Like, there's so much going on in it. It's just the kind of film you have to see to really appreciate, but I love it. I think it's incredible. Like, talking about it now, I'm really annoyed I don't have access to it. So I would watch all 2.5 hours tonight after you went to bed and lose sleep to watch it. But it's great. It's a really great flick. It's super underrated, and and I think it's an all female cast. I think that's why Tilda Swinton plays the male.
Oh, okay.
The male like therapist, just so it could be an all female cast.
Yeah.
But it's so good. This guy makes really good films as well. I've got to watch Call Me by Your Name, because Challenge is excellent as well.
Cool.
But that's my list. Some
very witchy.
Witchy movies. I'll show you the rope dresses after we stop recording, so you can see what I mean. That's it. That's our witches.
Yeah, that's our magical list.
Did you have any honourable mentions? Pardon me.
Not that I can think of, other than Harry Potter series and Lord of the Rings series.
I had Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings, of course, as well. I also had... I've got a sneeze coming. Hopefully I can avoid it. The Lords of Salem, which is a Rob Zombie film.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It would have been on my list... no, there's nothing... Because it was on my list, and then I remembered Encanto, and I was like, Encanto's going to go higher than Lords of Salem. Lords of Salem is a typical Rob Zombie film. Rob Zombie makes very nasty films, very mean-spirited films, which is, that's horror, so there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, this one I couldn't watch every Halloween. This one I can't watch every single year. Like, it gets pretty dark and pretty grimy and stuff. But basically it's about a DJ who gets sent a mysterious record with like this weird recording on it, and it turns out she's in Salem, Massachusetts, and they're trying to hypnotize her into becoming like part of their coven. It has an incredible final act. The last few minutes of this movie, just like Suspiria, are kind of bonkers as well. Like, it's just visually like there's blood and like naked people and like tormented trees and stuff like that. And it turns out there's like a whole massacre and stuff. But it is slow, and I would say at times a little bit boring. And that's not doesn't make it a bad film. Like, some films can have boring moments in it, but I feel like compared to the other ones I've talked about, it doesn't quite hold up. But it is a good film. Lord of Salem, very underappreciated, because people were used to him making like slasher films, and this is not that. And then the last film on my honourable mentions is a movie I only watched for the first time last week. A 1960s film called Witchfinder General, starring Vincent Price. Based on real events, like based on a real person who actually like was kind of ordained by the king to go around...
To be a witchfinder. And
hunt down people who he deemed not to pass the tests.
Yeah.
And they make fun of it in Monty Python, which is like, if she floats... she's a witch, and if she drowns, she's a human. It's
clearly innocent.
Like, okay, well, how can we with it? And, like, I thought there was going to be... The only reason it didn't make my list is with a name like Witchfinder General, I thought there was going to be quite a bit of witch finding, and it's really just focused on one family.
Yeah.
And it's like a priest and, like, his adopted daughter or whatever. Yeah. But it was pretty interesting. Like, it was a well-made film, and, Vincent Price is brilliant, obviously. But it just wasn't witchy. There wasn't enough witch in it for me. Like, there's more witchiness in Matilda than there was in Witchfinder in general. But those are some witchy movies and some good Halloween films. Get people to watch Amazing Wizard of Paws.
Oh my God, yes. You absolutely have to.
Got to check it out. Do you have any final thoughts before we send people off into the spooky evening?
No, enjoy your spooky October.
We'll probably do some more. Probably do some more spooky episodes before the end of October. We'll talk about some more Halloweeny stuff, I think.
Yeah.
Next episode, films featuring pumpkins. We'll keep it really broad.
Oh my goodness.
Nice one. If you want to support the show, head over to Instagram. I was a teenage film snob _, between every single word. I'm doing a lot of reviews at the moment. 90-second reviews have been blowing up. People have been really enjoying those, which has been good. And the last episode, we had Devaney Pinn, director of The Black Mass. If you haven't listened to that yet, go check it out. She's great. Tina, do you want to promote your thing? You actually have something to promote on the show.
I have a Spoonflower account where I make all different designs for fabric and wallpaper. They're really funky, they're really bright, they're really colourful. They are available now on my Spoonflower. So if you head over to Boom Diddy Boom, that is boom, like as in boom, crash, bang.
Yeah.
So boom, full stop, Diddy, like
Diddy Kong,
like an unfortunate rap artist. Full stop.
I went with Diddy Kong.
Yeah, I think Diddy Kong's the better one. So it's at boom, full stop, Diddy, full stop, boom. Then you'll be able to check out some of my designs. You can follow, you can like. You don't have to buy anything, but the more people who like my page, the better.
Yeah, and buy some of my shirts as well, so Tina and I don't have to work anymore. Do that. Yeah. Buy her fabric, buy my shirts, every day. Do you have any Halloween-style prints coming out this October?
Ooh, I should make some, shouldn't I? Okay, I'll do that.
There we go. Yeah. So I've just forced Tina to do more work.
No, I'm excited. Some
Halloween prints. And I think that's it. So thank you everyone for listening. Thank you to Tina, my surprise guest, for coming back on the show. I hope you all have an enjoyable witchy week. And as I say every week on the show, guys, I was a teenage film snob, but I'm trying to be better. We'll see you next week.